Biologists are going to great lengths to save a rare plant that turned up in San Francisco's Presidio. KPIX5's John Ramos shows us they are trying to match it with mates so that the endangered plant can survive.
In 2009, a sharp-eyed ecologist noticed a plant growing along Highway 1 in San Francisco's Presidio. It turned out to be a Franciscan Manzanita, a plant thought to be extinct in the wild. It was dug up and moved to an undisclosed location in the park, but then what?
It's great that it was saved, but it's kind of at a biological dead end without essentially mates that we can bring to cross-pollinate and produce seeds.
The Park Service used cuttings to create these clones of the shrub they nicknamed Francie, but where to find a mate for a plant considered extinct? It turns out UC's Botanical Garden in Berkeley has some, thanks to a woman named Lester Roundtree. Back in the 1940s, she snuck some of the plants from an old Presidio cemetery that was being redeveloped and gave them to research gardens in the Bay Area.
I think she showed some really good initiative, and her thoughts were about conserving plants. Here was this rare plant. I mean, we knew it was rare at the time, and she's like, we can't just destroy it just because we want that property.
Now the Park Service has planted some of Lester's plants next to Francie's clones, and the hope is in 2 or 3 years, when the birds and the bees have done their thing, the so-called loneliest plant in the world will begin producing seeds and eventually some company.
But what we want to do is make sure that they could reproduce and have a self-sustaining population into the future without us having to propagate them.
Because it's one thing to reproduce plants in a research garden, but they aren't considered wild until they can do it on their own, without the hand of man involved. In San Francisco, John Ramos, KPIX5.
Researchers believe they have living samples from 3 or 4 individual plants, and they hope each plant can help maintain biodiversity in the species.